Hi everybody, welcome back. First of all, I'd just like to say a few thank yous before I make a start. I'd like to say thank you to our new subscriber Sandra Booston. Her message came through in Dutch, so she's either from the Netherlands or from Holland, but thank you very much for your lovely comment. I did translate it, thank you. Agnes, Mick said, won't be long now before you can move in. The house is coming along quite quickly now, so it's looking pretty good. Thank you for your comments. The Crafting Nook, lovely comments from you. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Jane Wood, another one that sent some lovely comments. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Do appreciate it. And hi Diane from Yorkshire. Nice to speak to you. I'm glad you got some good tips and ideas from Mick's video. It's great to know that you're getting some good ideas from it, and have a lovely rest of the week. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's going to be sunny for the next few days, so hope you enjoy the sunshine. What I'm doing today is I'm making, I did mention it before in my previous video, that I'm going to make a suckling pig, and Mick wanted me to make a turkey for his table in the Victorian house. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to make the suckling pig and a turkey out of polymer clay. So we'll crack on with that, and I'm going to make a start on that now. Right, before I start, I just want to show you two that I made just as a trial exercise. I'm quite pleased with the way they turned out. These are the ones that I made. I hope you can see that. I'll give them a little turn around so you can see. Just there. With the pig itself, I put it on a bed of greens and potatoes and carrots and stuff around the outside of it. I thought it might make it look a bit nicer. And I put a little red apple in his mouth. So yeah, they're the two that we're going to be making today. Right, first of all, to start, what I do is I get a bit of silver foil and I scrunch it up, because I find that this makes the body, rather than you using all clay and it comes out quite heavy and it takes a long time to bake, if you use this as a base, you don't have to use so much clay and it turns out much nicer and lightweight. So roughly get the shape that you want at the length that you want just by scrunching it all up into a ball, like so. Now, nice scrunched up bit of silver paper there, and then flatten out your polymer clay and just cover the whole thing. Cover the whole thing in clay, just spreading it about. You have to use sort of like bits and pieces just to fill in the gaps as well, but it will all smooth out as you go along. That's the top bit covered. Then I'll get another bit, just flatten that out. If you haven't got a rolling pin, you can just use a felt pen just to flatten it out a bit. So, just to make it a bit thinner. There we go. I'll carry on filling this up. Just squash it all on. Once you've got this bit of silver paper covered, then you can start moulding the shapes that you want. We're making the suckling pig first, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know. Right, we're getting there, a little bit more. Stick that on the end. Right. Right, I've moved the camera around so you can actually see what I'm doing, because it's no good doing a video if you can't see what I'm doing. So, right, I've smoothed that all over now. Now I've got like a sausage shape there. So that's mainly the body of the pig. So what I need to do now is I need to get another bit and make his snout, his head and his snout. So got to join that bit on. So if we stick this on the front there and smooth it out, so we've got some extra clay to make his nose. Just spread that all over, and then you can mould it. I know it doesn't look much like a pig at the moment, but it will do, I promise. There we go. Starting to take a bit of shape now. Flatten his nose out a bit. There we go. Get in there. Right, now we want to make some legs to go on it. So we get another bit of clay, and what I'll do is I'll squeeze it to make it a bit softer, and then I'll roll it out. But I want to leave one end quite chunky for his thigh, like so. So that's sort of like that shape, yeah. And then we can pop a leg on, just squash it down a bit, and pop a leg on there. That's that one, and we do one the other side as well. Try and soften this up a little bit, sorry, and then we can get it going. There we are. That's it, like a drumstick type shape. Once you've got your drumstick shape, I think we need a leg a little bit longer than that. That's it. And then we stick this one on this side, squash it in, and you start to get the shape of the leg. You can see that. Got one each side. Make sure they're even. Right. There we go. Now we want 2 front legs. So we do the same principle again. Like 2 little bits of clay. Front legs being a bit smaller than the back legs. And then we put the front legs on. Squash that on like that. And then the other side exactly the same. Not quite got enough clay, so I nick another little bit. That's it. Squash it in. There we are. And stick that on the other side, like so. Actually, it's a bit far back. Let's move it forward a bit more. That's it. Right. Right, that's that. Now we start just smoothing out some of the clay so that it doesn't look like it's just stuck on there. It's part, it looks like it's part of the animal. Smooth it all over so that it sticks on nicely. There we are. Right, okay. It's quite a little fat pig, but that's alright. Right, once you've sort of smoothed them out a little bit, got rid of some of the lines you don't want. That's it. Then what I use is a kebab skewer, and I'll poke it in his nose to make his nose holes. Just one there and one there. Like that, so you've got two little holes for his nose. And then you want to do the same for his eyes. You want two little holes for his eyes. So I'll pop one about there and one the other side. Just make sure they're at the right height. You don't want one eye up in the air and one down on the floor. That's it. Okay. Then I'm going to get my craft knife and I'm just going to cut a slit underneath his nose, like so, because we want his mouth to open, because we're going to put an apple in there. So just open his mouth like so, so we can get an apple in there once it's done. And just take his mouth back a little bit. So it looks like he's smiling. Okay, I'm gonna just try and give him a bit of a backbone by just squeezing the clay together on the back there. That over a bit. That's it. And just sort of play around and try and get some shape into him. There we go. Starting to come together, I think. Now he needs some ears, some piggy ears. Okay, for the ears, you want two like triangles of clay, only very small. That'll make a pointed top, so cut out like a triangle shape there and one here. Two triangle shapes there. So, and then what I do is I cut two slots in the top of his head, one there and one there, where his ears are going to go, so that I can push the clay into the slots there, because we don't want his ears falling off. So then the bottom of the triangle I pop into where the hole, where I've just made the hole, and I'll smooth it into the hole there, like so, and then I'll bend it over, and then I'll do the same the other side, pop it in, smooth it down a bit, and then bend the top over like so. It's starting to come together, it's starting to look like a pig a bit now. Then we want a tail, so we need a little bit of clay, roll it into a sausage. You want it quite thin because pigs don't have a very big tail, so we choose the thinnest bit. That's it. And then we just take one bit of that We pop it on the end. Make a little hole for his tail to go in. Pop it on the end there, like that. And then we can curl it up to make a nice little curly tail, just like that. That's good. Okay, first of all we want to make some like green leaves to go underneath. So all I do is I'll push it down and flatten it as much as possible, and then I just tear it off and make my green leaves like so, quite thin, and then I just stick it underneath so that it comes up on the side like so, and I do that all the way round. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just so you've got something there to stick your apples and stuff on. Right, I'll just go all the way around with this, and then I'll come back to you in just a second. Okay, I've put all the greenery round the outside of the pig now, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some apples and carrots around the outside. So what I've done, I've just made some little apples in different colours there, and I will colour them down a bit to make them look like they've been cooked. So once I start colouring on there, sorry, I've just got to tease this greenery out a little bit so I can sit the apples on there. That's it. Just stick it. Yeah, sorry, I just had to stop for a minute then so I could turn it round so because you couldn't see what I was doing, so that's no good, is it? Right, I'm going to stick a few of these around, and then I've made a red apple there just to go in his mouth. So hopefully we can achieve what we're after. Just dot some of these about. Sorry, dot some of these about. And I'll put some carrots in between. Just around. I think it looks nice when you've got a bit of colour going on. So, turn it around there. These. That's it. Do another. Another little one there. Just turn them around, and we stick a red one in his mouth. Might have to open his mouth a bit wider. There we go. That's good. Okay, that one's done now, and that's ready for baking. Once I finish baking it, I shall colour it with some pastels. I'll just show you there, and I'll once it's all coloured with pastels, then I can Mod Podge over it. So that's my little pig there, all done, ready to go in the oven. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on with making the turkey. So using the same principle, I'm going to get my bit of foil, crunch that up, to make a shape of a turkey, sort of, something to wrap my clay around. Right, okay, that's my tin foil scrunched up for my turkey. Now I'm just going to cover it with my clay, just all the way around, and smooth it all out. That's it. And then try and make my turkey shape. That's it. And then we make some legs. So what I want is like two nice big drumstick shapes for the legs. Off. So pinch that. So we put one of the legs on. One of the legs on here. Squash it on. Smooth it underneath. That's it. Leave that bit of the leg sticking up. And then do one for the other side. Get a nice drumstick shape going there. That's it. And then I'll cut that end bit off because it's too long. That's it, we don't need that. Pinch that together. And then I can put this leg on this side. Just pinch the ends. Squash it on. Right, that's my legs on. Sort of pinch the ends here to thin them out a bit so they're a bit chunky. So I'll stick them together like so. Just chop a bit off the top. That's it. There we are. Right, that's the legs on. Now we've got to make the wings at the back. Well, they're at the front. This is the front of the bird, isn't it? So we'll make the wings. So we want a nice bit of sausage going on. And we'll take a piece of that to make a wing at the back. And then I'll stick that on there, just pop it underneath. That's it, we'll shape it all afterwards and then another bit for the other side. That's it. Yeah. So we flatten that out a little bit. And this one. And then what we want to do is where the head would have been, we want to make like a triangle shape. Like so. And push it in. Use this kebab skewer. And just push that in. That's it. Like that, and then that looks like where the head's gone. And then at the other end you want to make a little bit of an indent there as well, like that. There we go. Right, and then what I do from there is I use my kebab skewer, and you've got to make little marks all over it, so like where the feathers were. So I just stipple it all over the clay so that it looks like where it's been plucked, you've got that texture all over it. Right, I'm going to continue doing this all over, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. Right, okay, that's my turkey and my suckling pig ready for baking in the oven. As you can see, I finished all the stippling all over the turkey there, so you can see where it looks like the feathers have been plucked out, so that gives it a bit of texture. So I'm going to bake them in the oven now at 170 for about 20 minutes, and then I'll come back to you and we'll start putting some pastels on. Okay, we're out of the oven now and we've cooled down a bit, so we can start putting our pastels on. What I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with this one here. This is a, what number is it? Let me tell you. It's a number 16 pastel. I do use this one quite a lot for food. I've used it on bread and all sorts of things. So this, it gives a nice sort of golden brown colour. What I'll do is I'll start with the lightest brown that I'm going to use, and then I'll gradually build up with darker ones on top. So hopefully we'll get the desired effect once we're all done. I'll try and do it so you can see what I'm doing. Just give a coat of this one all over. I do like using pastels because I find they spread a lot better than normal paint. Okay, I think that's about it on that. Now I'll go on to the next shade up, number 17. This one's slightly oranger, so I just be mindful that I put it where I want it darker. Just round the creases of the legs and the ears. Around the top of the head. Then I'll move on to an even darker one. I'll move on to number 18, which is sort of a medium dark brown. And then I'll put that across the bits that are more burnt than others, I think. Just gradually building up my colours. And what I want is some of that on the vegetables as well, because they've been cooked, and the apples have been cooked. Right, and put some of this darker one on the snout, because the snout is going to be a lot darker than anywhere else. I'll go on to a even darker one now, and I'll do the eyes. Make sure I put some in the eyes, so they're nice and dark. Put them across the top of the nose there, and on the ears. starting to look like it's been cooked now. Once I finish doing this and I'm happy with it, then I can Mod Podge it, which will give it like a glossy finish, which is quite nice. It adds to the effect, I think, of it being cooked. Make sure I put some of that darker on the carrots there, so it makes it look like they've been cooked. That's it. That's quite pleased with that. Right, now what I'll do is I'll Mod Podge that. Actually, I think I'll go on to the turkey next, and then I'll Mod Podge that afterwards. Oh, I missed a bit when I put it down. I noticed I've missed his bottom jaw, so I better put a bit of colour on that there. So that's it. That's good. Actually, my husband noticed it, not me. But Mick's got a hawk eye when it comes to things like that. There we go. Right, now I'll go on to my turkey. But because I used a darker polymer clay on this one, I won't have to put so much colouring on it, but I still will put some on there, just to highlight certain areas and make it look like it's been cooked. So I'll start off with a medium brown, and I'll put this over the top so that it looks, so you've got different shades, so it looks like it's been cooked. So darken, put a darker one on there, just on the ends there. That's better. Because they don't all come out one colour, do they? You can just bit golden brown on it. That's it. And that. Lovely. Right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to Mod Podge these now, and then hopefully we'll be looking good. Right, I'm going to put this on there, and when this dries, this is a gloss one, so when it dries it will be nice and shiny. So I'm just going to put a thin layer all over, cover it over. It actually acts like a varnish. I suppose you could use like PVA if you haven't got Mod Podge, or what is it, decoupage. This one, Mod Podge is a brand name, so but this is exactly the same stuff, but Hobbycraft's own make. So, and it's cheaper. So, but you can buy it online. You buy it on Amazon or anywhere else. They all sell it. So, right, let's just start Mod Podging this one then. Make sure I get in all the nooks and crannies. So, as you've noticed probably, I haven't done the underneath, and the reason I haven't done the underneath of them is because I'm going to stick it to a platter. So I didn't really want to paint it underneath unnecessarily, and it'll be easier to stick down if it's not painted. So I've left the underneath quite bare, as you can see. And I've done the same on the turkey. I didn't paint underneath, so it gives me a nice surface to glue it down to. There we are. and then we'll let this dry, and then I can show you the finished product. Okay, that's that for now, and I'll be back to you shortly when this is dry. Okay, that's my 2 suckling pigs finished. I hope you like them. They're not all going to come out exactly the same, obviously, because you're hand making them, so they're all going to be slightly different patterns, slightly different sizes. But on the whole, I think they've turned out quite well. I'm quite pleased with those. What I'll do now is I'll show you the turkeys that I've made. If you like what you see today, please press that like button and subscribe to our channel, because you're all more than welcome, and we love to have your comments, so please leave a comment. As you can see with these 2 here, I used 2 different colour clays only because I ran out of the lighter clay. So this one obviously looks more well done than this one, but I don't think they look too bad. I'll give them a turn around and show you. So yeah, I'm quite pleased the way everything's turned out, so I'll move them to one side and pop my pigs back on there. There we go. A good day done. So thank you very much again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you very soon. Bye bye now.